At a recent high-profile event, Meghan Markle found herself in an uncomfortable and isolating situation, starkly contrasting the warm reception her husband, Prince Harry, received. The video capturing this event focuses on Meghan's evident struggle to gain attention from those around her. As she navigated the crowd, it became apparent that she was largely ignored by attendees, who appeared disinterested in interacting with her. No one approached her for photos or conversation, leaving her to wander the venue in a state that the video describes as aimless and awkward. This portrayal of Meghan's isolation becomes a central theme, contrasting sharply with Prince Harry's warm and engaging interactions. From the moment she arrived, it was clear that Meghan was not the center of attention. While Prince Harry mingled easily, shaking hands, posing for photos, and enjoying the company of the crowd, Meghan's attempts to engage were met with indifference. The video emphasizes how Meghan's efforts to appear involved fell flat. One particularly notable moment was her enthusiastic greeting of the Vice President of Colombia after a speech. The video frames this as Meghan jumping up quickly, eager to be the first to greet the official, as though she was trying to force a connection and make a positive impression before anyone else could. The rush to greet the Vice President was interpreted as a calculated move, designed to capture attention, but it appeared forced and out of place. Throughout the event, Meghan's behavior was repeatedly described as awkward and unnatural. The video highlighted her tendency to engage in what were termed fake conversations, suggesting that she was pretending to be part of the event despite clearly being left out. She would often clap at moments when no one else did, smile at seemingly inappropriate times, and make gestures that the video claimed were efforts to appear involved and relevant. This disconnect between Meghan's actions and the reactions of those around her created an awkward dynamic, where she appeared to be trying too hard to belong in a space that was not welcoming her. Adding to the awkwardness was Meghan's constant physical contact with Prince Harry. The video repeatedly pointed out how Meghan would touch Harry, placing her hand on his arm, back, or shoulder as if she was clinging to him for support. This frequent contact was interpreted as a clear sign of her discomfort and a desperate attempt to connect with someone who was being warmly received, in stark contrast to her own experience. The video suggested that this physical contact was not just affectionate, but also an attempt to keep herself grounded and visible in an environment where she felt ignored. It portrayed her touches as a coping mechanism, a way to manage her sense of isolation and anxiety in the face of an event where she was not the focal point. As the event progressed, Meghan's attempts to engage the crowd grew more pronounced, but they continued to fall flat. She was shown interacting with children for photo opportunities, a move the video described as another effort to garner attention. These moments, while typically endearing, were portrayed as contrived, with Meghan positioning herself with children as a way to shift the spotlight back onto herself. Yet, even in these moments, the video claimed that the crowd's indifference persisted, leaving Meghan in a state of frustration that she struggled to conceal. The video further underscored Meghan's perceived embarrassment. It suggested that her actions, clapping when no one else did, smiling when it wasn't appropriate, and faking conversations, were all efforts to hide her growing discomfort. Despite her attempts to appear involved and confident, the video painted a picture of a woman who was deeply frustrated by her inability to draw the attention she clearly desired. Her smiles and gestures were interpreted as forced, masking a deeper sense of disappointment at being overlooked. In stark contrast to Meghan's isolation, Prince Harry thrived in the same environment. The video repeatedly juxtaposed Meghan's lonely wandering with Harry's effortless interactions. He was shown chatting with attendees, posing for photos, and engaging warmly with the crowd. This difference in their experiences was striking. While Harry moved through the event with ease and confidence, Meghan appeared increasingly out of place, unable to command the same level of attention or engagement. Meghan's isolation became even more pronounced as the video focused on her frequent attempts to connect with Harry. Her touches and gestures toward him were highlighted as signs of her desperation to be included in his interactions, to be part of the moment that he was enjoying. But even in these moments, the video suggested that Meghan's attempts were largely ignored by those around her, leaving her isolated despite being physically close to her husband. Toward the end of the event, the video portrays Meghan as visibly frustrated by the lack of attention she received. Her attempts to be noticed had failed, and her efforts to hide her embarrassment were becoming less effective. The video suggested that Meghan's forced conversations and inappropriate clapping were her way of trying to save face, to appear as though she was still a part of the event, even though it was clear that she had been sidelined. Her body language, described as tense and uneasy, betrayed the discomfort she felt throughout the day. Ultimately, the video framed Meghan's experience as one of deep isolation and awkwardness. Her attempts to engage, connect, and be a part of the event were met with indifference, leaving her wandering the venue in a state of increasing frustration. In contrast, Prince Harry thrived, effortlessly engaging with the crowd and drawing the attention that Meghan so desperately sought. The video suggested that Meghan's frequent touches, forced smiles, and inappropriate clapping were all symptoms of her struggle to cope with the reality that, at this event, she was not the star. Instead, she was an outsider, isolated and ignored in a space where she had once hoped to shine.